Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? 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 Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? 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 Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? 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 Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? 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 Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? 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 Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about?
Hey.
What's going on?
How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
So, this is Kitchen Talk, y'all. CTC.
Conversations that cook.
Yes, they do. And they cook even better when I send y'all the link.
Hey, I don't know if you hear that, but it's an echo.
Is it me? Oh, somebody's watching.
Oh, but it's coming back. So somebody's watching in the room where you are.
Somebody's watching in the room where you are.
Oh, oh, that makes sense, huh? Yes, and they are. Well. My bad.
Thank you for watching. Appreciate you.
But you ain't got to go home. But you go.
I have to step into another room.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Babe, you still on there? No, they off. That's not me.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, they off. That's not me.
I don't know. This technology thing is crazy, ain't it?
Yeah.
It is so funny to hear that delayed echo like that. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you muted. So it is on your end somewhere. I don't hear it anymore. I can't hear you either because you muted your microphone.
So you saying it's me?
Yeah, it's on your side. Oh, it stopped.
Oh, it's still there.
Oh, you just turned it down.
Okay. Mm-mm.
Well, look, it's been
Anyway,
a bumpy start to Kitchen Talk tonight for whatever reason. Um,
it's
Somebody don't
it's
want us to
Fran's
talk
fault.
about what we gonna talk about. Maybe I don't know. But I was thinking, I don't know if you saw this, but like last week we was talking about the people suing the social media orgs
Hmm.
and stuff like that in companies. Well, I also saw where there is so many millions or billions or whatever dollars with Credit Karma that they're settling
Right.
because in the app they have said you are pre-approved
Right.
and people with bad credit have applied, didn't get it, and it damages, their credit
The
score.
credit. Right. Hmm.
So I was like, you know what? We need to talk about money. That's what we need to talk about.
Right. Right.
And I mean, who better to talk about that than with, our original finance guy?
Hey man, that's all right. I appreciate you.
I was
Yeah.
like, we got the inside track right there already in the house. So I was like,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about this money. Like money, money,
Yeah.
money, money.
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 Yeah. And the thing is, Credit Karma doesn't. I mean, they'll give you a credit score, but the best place to go is basically go to annualcreditscore.com, and it's free, and you can get your credit report, annual credit report, .com, and get your credit
Mm-hmm.
report every year so you can see what's on your credit report.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can then go to the three main issues of credit score, to see
Mm-hmm.
what your score is.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just recommend everybody that once a year, put a date on your calendar, and every year go and pull up your credit score, not your credit score, but your credit
Your credit
report,
report. Mm-hmm.
because the report is just as important as your score. A lot of people just want to know what their score is, but if you look at your report, you can be able to see what things are on there, what things
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be on there, what things should have been on there, but they should have gone off by now. Because
Mm-hmm.
if there's something on your on a negative thing on your report, every 7 years it should fall off.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look up and it's been eight,
Except
nine
for your
years,
student loans, they don't follow.
no, well, no. Well, and put it like this: if anything, let's say for example, if you had a collections, right,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been 5 years, right, so you got 2 years before it falls off your credit score.
Mm-hmm.
But if they send you, say, hey, look, you owe $5,000. If you pay it now, you'll only owe 1,500, and you respond to that, that 7 years starts over.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
I did
So
not know that.
yeah, it starts over. So some people would tell you, if your 7 years is almost over, then don't respond. Don't respond. Just let it go. And in 7 years, it falls off. Because what happens is when they send something to collections, basically what happens is your original lender sold that.
Right.
So they sold that debt to someone else that you don't have an agreement with.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the original lender says, hey, look, I'll sell you this $5,000 debt for $1,000. Now it's up to you if you get that money or not. They're taking a risk, but they take the risk because you know what? If I got a 5,000 debt and I only paid 1,000 for it, if I get 2,500 for it, I made 1,500.
Yeah.
So that's how they will still make that, they will still make money. And yeah, some people may not pay, but far and beyond, more people would pay it off than you think. More people
Yeah.
would accept that than you think.
Because of collections. Just
Because
because
it's
of the word collections.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's why But if it's been like 5 years, you ain't got but 2 years left, man, just go ahead and you might well go ahead and ride it out. Now, I don't agree because some people tell you if it goes to collection, don't pay it at all anyway. I look at it from the standpoint of you gave somebody your word that you were going to pay it.
Right.
So I feel like your word should mean something to you. So because you gave your word, you you should pay. Now, if you're in a situation where you can't pay or something happened, hey, like I said, if it's close to that 7 year time period and it's almost done, what? Let it ride. And after 7 years, if it's still on there, you can write to the credit reporting agency and have them remove it.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm. So, we've talked about money before, many times, on Kitchen Talk, and we talked about how I remember, growing up, we knew what money was, but I don't think we necessarily maybe knew the value of it, because whenever we wanted something, we'll be like, "Oh, mommy, just write a check,"
Right.
you
Right.
know.
A friend of mine used to have blue checks, so his kids called it blue money.
We'd be like, "Oh, we want to go to we want to go get some pizza," and she'd be like, "I don't have no money." We'd be like, "Mommy, just write a check.
Hell
You
yeah,
still
you
got
got
you
plenty
still
of
got to
those.
have the money."
Right. Right.
We
Right.
didn't know
Right.
that.
Hmm.
We didn't know that. Just write a
Yeah.
check. So so I think it is definitely less taboo, of a word in the house today,
Hmm.
because it's so important. I think,
Right.
more people, more parents and children are talking about it, but
Yeah.
there are still some places where it is taboo, like in the church. If you say money,
Well,
oh my God, Jesus
yeah.
is free. why,
But you know, and
why
I
y'all
talk
talking about money?
right, and I talk about that all the time. You know, as a matter of fact, I was talking on Sunday about this, and I say, you know, people really don't understand the value. I said, so say for example, I go out to eat, I take my kids out, and maybe some other people come out to eat with me, and I pay for the meal. All my child sees is what his meal costs. He doesn't understand the full sacrifice of the entire meal that I'm paying for.
Mm,
All he
mhm,
sees is that one spot. And so he would say, well, my meal only costs $25. But no, it's not just about your meal. And
mhm.
then, and so it's more to it. And so when I think about, like people talk about the church, I think, well, first of all, it never said salvation is free. You just didn't have to pay for it.
Mm.
And a lot of times we only focus on our bill. We don't realize that he paid the bill for the entire world.
You right. You
So
right.
so it's so much more to it. And I know, we're not trying to get into giving and the church and anything like that. We're talking about money and debt and all those different things. But when you want to have
Yeah,
that
yeah.
conversation, we can have that conversation.
Oh, we gonna have that one too. Trust. We will have that one.
Right.
But I think we need to wait on Franz because he got quite the view on
Right.
church giving.
Right. Yeah.
But take a minute and explain. And I don't know if you know the history of it, but where necessarily does credit score kind of come from? What did it evolve from? Do you?
Oh man. So I don't know if you remember the Diners Club. Used to be a Diners Club. That was
I kind
actually
of
the
remember something like that.
that was actually like the very first credit card,
Mm.
right? But what happened is when they started lending money, you had a lot of predatory lending going on. Um, and so they started putting laws in place to kind of curtail the predatory lending, putting laws in place that protected the consumer. And so one of the things too that happened is as more and more people started trying to apply for credit, and now there are certain restrictions that will get you in credit, not in credit, but getting you in trouble because again, you are a predatory lender. Oftentimes, you lend to people that you know are going to struggle paying it back.
And that way you make more money.
That way, you make more money. So, now again, from my understanding, credit scores became as one of the things to address that. In other words, look, a person has to meet this particular threshold. Um,
Mm.
and I got some more notes on that type of stuff, but that's somewhere back in the when I was taking this course on certified credit counseling. We talked about those different things, and it's in my notes somewhere. So I don't want to give you bad information on that.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, so credit score came in place as a way of determining who should be lent money and who shouldn't, who is a good risk, who's a bad risk. The fair Isaac's credit, that's where that comes from. Your FICO score.
Mm. What is it? FICO, what is it?
Fair and Isaac's, that's what it was called. Your FICO score, and
Oh.
that's where they would determine if you're a good credit risk, bad credit risk, who they should give money to. So, for example, if a bank gets audited and they loan money to individuals who have very low scores and don't have reasons why they're doing it or in place, they can be cited for that.
Mm.
They can be cited for that.
So now what are the factors that affect your credit score?
Factors that affect your credit score, type of credit, whether it's a home loan, revolving credit like a automobile credit, the type of credit, the length of credit, how long you had it, Those things affect your credit score. Of course, payment history, how
Mm.
you pay affects your credit score. And new credit. Those are the major things on there. New credit. They prefer to see older credit
Mm-hmm.
on there. And then, but they do like to see where there are some changes or whatever. But all those things will affect your credit score.
So I found it interesting when I was doing the whole process of purchasing a home and things like that. I I purposely cleaned up all the bad debt. I
Hmm.
paid off my car, just all of this stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm doing good. And
Right.
call and, apply for a loan. And it's like, oh, you need a such and such. I'm like, I just got rid of all of that stuff. I
Right.
done paid off my car. How can you not, and it was like it wasn't good enough. And I'm thinking
Well,
I'm doing
it's
good.
it's not the fact that you didn't that you paid it off. It's the timing of it. So again, so they're going back over a history. So although you paid it off today, that doesn't add enough points to your score. You follow what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, what they would rather see is payment history. So what they would rather
But it
see is
had that I had payment
that's what I'm
history.
saying.
It
That
wasn't
has
like
a
I bought it and then, you know.
right, but what I'm saying is that has a better look. The fact that you are paying it. So let's say, for example, if you're trying to build credit and you're going to pay it off soon, right? So what they
Mhm.
would prefer to see is 6 months of consistent paying, pop, 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 and then pay it off. Your credit history, how you pay, has a great impact on that. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, then when you pay it off, that frees up your what they call your debt to income ratio.
Right.
So that's another thing they look at. So they want to look at how much you debt you have compared to your income. That's another factor that affects your credit. So when you paid it off, that cleared up your debt to income ratio, but the payment history has a greater effect. Now I will say this too. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking that it didn't seem that far removed from when I was making payments
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
them to say, they need to see that. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Right.
like, I paid on my car for what, maybe 3, 4 years, maybe even 5, and then, was blessed to pay it off.
Right. Hmm.
So it wasn't like I didn't have any payment history. So that's what kind of boggled my mind about it. And they
Well,
were
and then
like, "Well,
again,
get a credit card." It was like, "Get a credit card." I'm like, "I just paid. Just got through getting rid of credit cards.
yeah.
You
Now
want
and
me to get
again,
another one?"
so let me ask this question. Okay, before you bought the house, did you look at your credit report?
I did.
Okay. And so when you looked at your credit report, um, and you look at certain factors on there, right? So for example, remember they like not only do they like, credit history, but they like to see when you got old credit, then they also like to see some new credit. So for
Mm,
example, let's say you had something on your credit card and you've been paying it, but you never paid it off, and it's been like 5 years, and then you finally say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pay it off now, right? So yeah, so you
mhm.
got old credit history there, but they're also looking to see, okay, what new do you have? And it's a catch 22 because if you got too much credit on there, guess what? Now your debt
Yeah,
to income ratio, you know what I mean,
yeah,
is it gets flips upside down. So
yeah.
you have to look at that as well when you're going. So you got to look at your debt to income. And like another thing that people fall into is, how like you have a credit card, right? And then they'll say, okay, transfer your balance and get zero interest for the next 12 months, right? So you transfer your balance, you get zero interest for the next 12 months, and then you're going with that, and then you transfer your balance again. Well, that's working against your credit because now you don't have any old credit. You don't have it. You're not showing consistent credit history. You just have new credit, new credit, new credit, new credit, new credit.
Mm.
So it's finding that balance between it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that really boggled my mind. Um, so speak to what would be considered bad debt and what would be considered maybe good debt.
Okay. Well, I'll just very simply put, just looking at the both, it's about what is it, what can be considered that will increase in value and what decreases in value. Very simple.
Okay.
Good debt is anything that will increase in value, right? So you buy a house. The house the mortgage is a liability, right? Because I got to pay it
Mhm.
every month. A liability is anything that causes money to go out my bank account, right?
Mhm.
So it's a liability, but the house itself is an asset. So it's good credit because the value of the house should do what? Go up.
Go up.
Unless you bought a house last year
Bought a
or
house what?
or early this year, if you're not careful. And the reason the risk is because they were driving the prices of the houses what? Up.
Oh.
They're driving the prices of the houses up. And the question is, can the market keep up with the price? Right. So and not get sidetracked too much, but what we got to remember, we're a supply and demand country, right?
Mhm.
So so what determines the value of something, right? The
Mhm.
value of a home, we can estimate, okay, the value is 300,000, 400,000, $1 million. We can estimate the value, but the true value is determined by what somebody wants to pay. If nobody
Mm.
wants to pay that price, then guess what's going to have to happen? The price is going to have to do what? Have to
Come
drop.
down.
Right.
Mhm.
So what they were doing the past couple of years, oh, well, there's a shortage. We don't have many houses out there. We don't have many. There's a shortage, right? And so what they were doing, they kept driving the market, driving the market, driving the market, pushing the prices of the houses up, 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 up. Now the question is, can the market keep up with it? Because now you have a house that was normally say 200,000 selling for 275. You follow what I'm saying? 300.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
now you look at it as it keeps going. Now, can the average person continue to pay that for that house? Will it go up or will the price have to do what? Come back down to adjust, right? That's the only thing about buying in the market. Some people are still getting very good deals, right? Some people are still getting very good deals, but there are some places where they're trying to push the prices up as far as they can. For example, in my neighborhood, there are some houses that are selling for 400,000, 500,000, but then there was one house that sold for 1 million. You see what I'm saying? Does that match in the same neighborhood?
No.
Nah. So
Wow.
undoubtedly, either the person that paid 400 got a really good deal, or the person that paid 1 million did what?
Got a
Paid too
really
much.
bad deal.
Right. And so, and it comes out when everything starts settling, and then people start looking at valuing homes. And now you look up, I paid 1 million, but now they're only saying that the value of homes in this area, the most you can get is 900,000. So you have no equity in the home,
Mm.
right? And
And
again,
who
so
we done went over to the way to the left over
I
here
know.
about the
That's right. But
house.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Okay.
But that's what makes buying a home good debt. Because although I'm paying for the home, I can build equity in the home, not just by me paying my mortgage, but by the value of the homes what
Mhm.
going up. So as the value of the homes go up and I'm paying my mortgage that I owe go down. So the equity, the amount of cash that I can get out if I sell it, or even if I say I want to do a home equity loan or whatever, that amount increases. So buying a home is good debt. So anything that will go up in value um, is good debt. Most cars are bad debt.
Mm.
Most cars are bad debt. The cars
'Cause as
that
soon
you
as
and
you
I can
drive
buy,
them off the lot, they depreciate.
they depreciate, right? The cars that you and I buy, most people buy, those cars are bad debt. They depreciate. However, there are some cars because they're not very many made. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain cars, but of course they're very expensive. And people
Mhm.
buy those cars for tax purposes or whatever. But at the same time, certain cars they go up in value. Hence, that can be a good debt. But again, so when you look at credit card debt, is considered bad debt.
Mm.
Now, how can I make credit cards work for me though? Because you can make credit cards work for you. You just have to understand it's bad debt because it's taking money, it's costing me more. So, for example, if I buy groceries for $300, if I paid a minimum a month, then I'm going to pay more than $300 for that grocery, even though the grocery itself was $300. But because of interest, I'm paying more for it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so but you can make a credit card work for you by paying your the debt off every month. So what
And
most people don't,
they don't really like that.
no,
Like I got the credit card because he told me to, but I'm like paying that. I don't want to pay no interest, so I'm paying that sucker off every time. I use it, for whatever. But at the before the due date, I'm like I'm paying it off because I don't want interest. So then they try to trick you too, because then they up your credit limit.
right. And then also what they do then is they um they would then also give you the different, what's it called, bonuses or whatever. You get so much miles if you buy this or do that, you get cash back, whatever. Because again, they're trying to find ways to incentivize you. You get incentive, thank you. So incentivize you to purchase more.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're paying your card off and you're paying it off every month, then they're gonna try to increase your rate, not your rate, but
Mm-hmm.
the amount, right? Two, they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
start trying to offer you different perks and incentives to use the credit card, right? See, because you got to remember the companies, right? They get paid different ways, right? So they get paid, one, from interest, but two, they get paid from the store for like, for example, if I'm going to take a credit card payment, I gotta pay a certain percentage to use to be able to receive that credit card.
Processing fee.
Think, there you go, processing fee. So now there's a way that you can make credit cards work for you. Again, one, you want to make sure you pay the bill off at the end of the month, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so look at this, right? So let's just say, for the sake of math, make it easy. Let's say you make $5,000 a month. Okay, you make $5,000 a month, and let's say when you look at your mortgage, your car, and gas, and all that stuff, let's just say, for sake of math, it comes up to groceries. I'm talking about everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything. It comes up to uh, say $4,000
Mm-hmm.
a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you could do, and I'm just using this as an example of how you can make the credit card work, because me, I don't really like using my debit card.
Mm-hmm.
So I know some people tell you cut up your credit cards, never use your credit card. I don't know. I'm not against that, but I don't like using my debit card because if someone does fraud, right, and somehow gets your debit card information, they're taking money right out of your bank account, and it's really
Mm-hmm.
hard to get that money back. The banks
Mm-hmm.
say they will take care of it and reimburse you, but it's a lot more intrusive to get that money back. With a
Mm-hmm.
credit card, and I've had people take my credit card information, and the credit card company reach out to me, say, hey, did you do this or whatever? Or I find it, say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is fraud. Immediately, they credit my account back.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's not a bigger struggle. And at the same time, they don't have access to my money if they get my card information. So that's why I prefer to use a credit card and not a debit card, because I don't like
Mm-hmm.
giving people access directly to my account. But again, you got to make sure that if you're going to do it, you're going to pay the amount off at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
month, right? But let's say, for example, your bills come up. You make what I say, 5,000 a month.
Five
Your
thousand.
bills
Your bills
your
come up to
bills come up to
4,000.
4,000, right? Now, this is kind of like credit card arbitrage, right? That's what they call it, right? One of the things you could do is basically say, okay, I'm going to pay all my bills with my credit card. Then at the end of the month, I'm going to put that $5,000 on my credit card. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pay it down. So if I look at this and say, okay, my credit card right now is maxed out at $5,000. Okay, I go ahead, I pay my $5,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pay my credit card, pay it off $5,000, and then I use the credit card to pay all my bills. So now I owe $4,000 on the credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Because
Mm-hmm.
so next month I get my $5,000. Guess what I do? I pay that $4,000 off, right? And now and so now here it is. I got $1,000 free. So what's happening is as I keep using my credit card, boom, 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 to pay everything off, and I'm using that money to pay the credit card. After a while, I'll have it to where guess what? My credit card is all the way paid off, right? And now I got this extra money that I can either put on something else, like put on my mortgage. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Like a
once I
savings account.
Right. So once I get that credit card, where it was at 4,000, they keep going down 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, because I keep paying it off, and I got this extra money. Now what I can do because I'm using my credit card, I'm using that money to actually pay something off with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey,
So
KK.
that's one way that you can make a credit card work for you. But if you but to thy own self be true. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
disciplined enough to follow that strategy or that plan, then you can't do that. You can't do that.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Because
You
then you
definitely do have, because sometimes credit cards can be very easy, and it's like, you know, it can be very easy, and you have to be you and I say it could be very easy because, you know, I made some bad choices and decisions about credit cards before because they so easy. It's like, okay, and they'll let you pay a little bit, a little bit. They don't mind you paying as long as you pay that little bit. And it's like, wait a minute, this ain't going nowhere.
10 years later and you still paying.
And you still paying a $500 limit.
Yeah. Think about this, right? Think about this, right? Most
Mm-hmm.
credit cards have a higher than a 15% interest,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but think about this. If you got a credit card with, say, around 15% interest, if it takes you 10 years to pay it off, you just doubled what you paid. So, if you owe $5,000, at the end of it, you're going to be paying 10.
Right.
So, you see what I'm saying? So it will behoove you to do what? Pay more than the minimum monthly.
Pay
But
more
like
than the
you said,
minimum.
it is so easy to look up and be done maxed out a credit card and be like, "Dog, how
Yeah.
how did I get here? I wasn't supposed to be here." You know,
And then
yeah,
it becomes just one more bill. It's like one more bill, one more bill,
one
one more
more,
bill.
and you feel like you're drowning and you're spinning your wheels, because it's just like, how do I get out of this? How do I stop this
Mm-hmm.
wheel? Because I'm just getting deeper and deeper and deeper, right? And so one of the things that I do is when I talk to people about it, it's not just trying to, because people say pay off your highest interest rate card first, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
sounds good, but the highest interest rate card may only free up $50 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So one of the things I tell people is when you look at your debt and you look at your credit cards or whatever you're going to pay off, let's say you got your credit card, you're trying to figure out, well, I have enough money to pay something off. Which do I pay off first? Again,
Mm-hmm.
traditionally people will tell you pay off the one that has the highest interest. And and I say, okay, yeah, do that if that frees up the most money. Because remember, your goal is to free up more money per month,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's your goal. So if this high interest rate credit card is not going to free up enough money, then that's not the one I would recommend you paying off. I would recommend, let's say I can pay off the credit card or I can pay off the car. The car, I'm paying $400 a month. The credit card, they only wanting $175 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to choose between the two. I'm going to pay off the car because now it frees up $400. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So now I could take that $400, put it with that 175, and now pay that credit card off faster.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
never thought about it that way.
Yeah. So it's about freeing up more money per month. You know what I mean? And so that's what me personally, that's what I would necessarily recommend. Now, again, remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is for educational purposes only. So
you better say it, because Dr. Scott said
yeah, right,
he'll come find you.
But yeah,
listen, this is Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations
that cook. That's all we doing. We is not offering you no advice. We is on here talking about money.
We just having a conversation that's cooking. That's all. Yeah. So that's the thing. And so when you look at that and you say, okay, well, I'm going to pay this off, and this will free up this amount of money, because for a person that doesn't have any money at the end of the month, to be able to pay something off that frees up so they can have money, that's powerful. Yeah. And so even if I don't take that same $400 and put it on a credit card, take $200, put it on the credit card. Now I'm putting $375 on the credit card. So I'm paying the credit card off faster, and now I got $200 that I can set aside a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I can put that money aside. Now, I will say this, and this is so important. Saving money never made anybody a millionaire. Because in order to save and become a millionaire, you got to make over $1 million and save. So one of the things too, as we talk about money, and I don't necessarily think we can get into it here, but you have to find a way to invest. You have to find a way to invest. You have to get it in something that's going to give you interest. One of the things that most of us, especially people who grew up poor, we don't understand the power of compound interest. That's why the credit card companies will allow you to borrow so much money, because they're getting interest off the money that they're loaning out. They're getting interest. Think about this. If credit card debt and people weren't paying credit card debt, how many companies would continue? Will we still have credit card companies?
Right. So if everybody was using the credit card and paying it off every month, we wouldn't have a credit card company, because they wouldn't make no money.
Or if they even wasn't paying their debt, you see what I'm saying? Then it would be a bad risk. So there's a lot of money in credit cards because of the interest that they're getting. They're getting interest. So they're making money on top of money on top of what?
Because then they take that money that they're getting and invest it, right? In some other stuff.
Right.
Like the insurance. I think insurance is the biggest pyramid scam ever.
You know what? This is the thing. It's not. The problem is we just never took advantage of it. Think about this. Most times our parents, just had enough, and I can't speak for you, but I'll say with my house and people that I knew grew, they had enough what they call burial insurance. They didn't have life insurance. This is really what they had. They had just enough money, if that, to do what? To bury them. Right? So we don't take advantage of the insurance. Insurance companies used to take advantage of us. Remember the man used to come through the neighborhood, the independent insurance agent,
insurance man,
and he would come and have this crazy, and your mama would be paying all this money for insurance, and it was the worst deal ever. And he didn't care as long as she kept making that monthly payment, because he was getting. And so at that point, it was like a pyramid scheme, right? But when you understand the whole life and universal life, you follow what I'm saying? And you take advantage of those things, now it's not a pyramid scheme. It's actually, this is a way to come up. And if I can't, then guess what? My kids can do it. For example,
generational
wealth. So if I get enough life insurance so that when I pass away, my children get, let's say, $1 million. Let's say they split $1 million, right? So that puts them out in a different situation, not trying to figure out how they bury daddy, but now, okay, their biggest issue now is, how are we going to get over the loss of daddy, and how are we going to manage this money? And I think it'd be a lot easier to get over the loss of daddy when when you got money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? Shorty, what you drink.
You know what?
And that's the thing. Most people that grow up in low income communities don't have life insurance because
Mm-hmm.
that's something they feel like they can't afford or they shouldn't be paying for, right? But we pay for everything else. We pay to get our hair and our nails and all this different stuff, but we won't pay, sometimes 20 something dollars, 30 something dollars a month just to get life insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, term life insurance, it's okay if you get the right type of term life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like you can get term life, term 80, right? Which means it's term life insurance, and you have it until you turn 80. But once you turn 80, if you still here,
You get it. You get all the money back.
no, no,
You
most
don't get
most
nothing,
you don't get anything.
and they don't pay you out when you die at 81.
Right. Now, again, there might be a clause in there where, but you got to look at your clause. So some of them, they won't give you any money back. Some of them will give you some money back. And some, again, you got to look at the policy. And some with all the money you put in, I've heard of some giving you that money that you put in back. Because what they're doing, they're investing your money.
Yeah.
You invest your money in the stock market, they invest in your money in the forex market, and we've talked about forex before, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we have.
So and so they're investing your money and all, so they're making money hands over fist, and that's why they're able to do it. You think about this, right? Insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies are some of the biggest money makers in America, or not just in America, but in the world, right? And so insurance companies make money, one, because they don't want to pay insurance, right? And two, they're able to invest money. And so you look at it. So I get a car, I pay for a car, and I'm paying monthly
Monthly
insurance,
insurance.
paying monthly insurance. But let's say you have an accident and you total that car. Question is, did I put enough insurance in that car, money in that car, I mean, in the insurance company to pay for that car? 9 times out of 10, you didn't. The reason they're able to pay it off though is because the monthly payments that you've been paying and I've been paying and somebody, guess what? They invested all that. They've been investing that money, right? So they made so much money in the forex market. You know what I mean? I mean, think
They
about it. In the
pay.
forex market, is
They pay you
almost
out.
eight trillion dollars go through the forex market a day. So they're able to take your money and invest it. So going back to what we're talking about now, good debt, bad debt, trying to figure out how we can save money, because you want to save money, but you also got to figure out a way to how you can invest it and make your
Mm.
money grow for you, make your money work for you.
That's what
Um,
I'm trying to get to.
I have
That
this saying that you
that
know
money
what,
could just work for me.
right? I was saying that money in the bank is retired, and if you're working and your money is in the bank, that means you're working for your money and your money's not working for you. Your money don't
Mm.
retire before you retire. So money that's invested, think about this, money that's invested is working towards your retirement. So, and money
Mm-hmm.
never sleeps. So when you go to bed, your money's still working if it's invested in the right thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you never want your money to be fully retired before you're retired. If you still got to work, then your money should be what? Should be
My
working.
money should be working.
It should be working. We just got to find ways to make it work. You know what I mean? We just got to find ways to make it work.
Mm-hmm. That's I know sometimes when we get to talking about money and how it really, really, really does make the world go round, as they say, money talk and the other stuff walk.
Hmm.
Um, but how can we, how do I want to ask this? How can we keep up with the changes? Like, does everybody, well, I guess that's just what kind of what you just talked about. Finding
Hmm.
ways to make your money work to invest instead of getting another job,
Right,
whatever. Yeah.
right. Because when you get another job, you can only work so much. And I'm not. This is my thing. I'm not against getting another job, right?
Mm-hmm.
as long as you're finding ways to be creative, to say, you know what, I'm working more now so that I can have more money to put to work for me, right? So, for example, if I'm working, right, and I'll just use this as an example because we talk about this in forex. So my goal would be to make, let's say I want to make 1% a day, right? Well, if I
Mm-hmm.
only got $500, that 1% a day ain't but $5,
Mm.
right? So I would say, okay, with it, I'm going to work extra because I want to be able to put more in that account so that 1% would be great. You follow what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
now 1% of $5,000 is $50. Okay, well, if I can make 1% a day, $50 a day, that's an additional $1,000 a month. I could go
Mm.
for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's 5 days a week, you know what I mean? So now that's the thing. If I'm gonna work extra, I'm working extra so that I can build up money so that I can now put that money towards something and make that money work for me. Now, and
Mm-hmm.
again, I do understanding sometimes that means the first thing I got to do when I'm working extra is use that money to pay off what? Bad debt,
Yeah.
so that I could be free of all this excess bad debt. This well, not excess bad debt, just bad debt, period. But be free of
Mm-hmm.
some of this debt so that I can now start, doing something else. Because you wanna. This is the thing. If I had to choose between paying off a credit card and investing, what do you think you should do?
Invest so that you can make a little money to pay off the credit
Right.
card.
Because if I pay off the credit card, I'm still broke.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So if I had to choose between credit card and investing, I'm gonna pay off. I'm gonna invest. But again, of course, the ideal place is to do what? Be able to do both, right? Do
Mm-hmm.
one without leaving the other undone. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole, because at the end of the day, although I got money and I'm investing it, to have a debt looming over me, that's pressure. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yeah.
So so it's knowing I've been there. You know what I mean? And that's not a good place to be. It's just not good. You know what I mean?
Right.
It affects our sleep because while I'm trying to invest that, because I'm not putting enough money in there, it takes a
Mm-hmm.
while for it to begin to build up to get it to where I want to go. So that's a slow process. So I still got the pressure of this debt on me. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why, again, even though it might be better to invest, some people to get that weight off of you and get rid of that anxiety, sometimes it's better just to do it, pay off all your debt. But let me ask you this question. What do you call a person that's debt free, but they have no money in the bank?
Happy? I don't know.
Broke.
Broke.
And they're one accident away for being in debt again.
Mm.
So you pay off your credit card because I got this money. I pay off my credit card. I have nothing in the bank. You get a flat tire.
You got to use a credit card.
You got to use your credit card.
Yeah. So I know it used to be they said at one time that you needed to have at least like 6 months of salary saved up. Is
Hmm.
that still the case with inflation?
Well, yeah, but yeah, it's the same. The 6 month doesn't change. It's just the amount that you have changes because inflation says you need more money.
Mm.
And the reason they say that is, and you know what, it was more evident during COVID.
Mm.
When they were saying you shouldn't go to work, and they were opening and then closing and opening and closing, and so people were losing jobs or whatever. So those who had money in the bank, guess what? They didn't work
Mhm.
because guess what? I got money in the bank. Those who didn't have any money saved up, now it becomes what? An issue. And so in order to help those people, we create it, it's a cycle, right? So we print more money, right? To give stimulus, right? To help people out. But the more money you print, the less valuable your money is, the more inflation comes, right?
Mm.
So
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 is that what they did? They didn't have that money. They printed that money to give us
yeah,
stimulus.
yeah, that's all they did.
Shut up.
Yeah, they just printed more money. It ain't like we made more money. They just
Oh,
went to
wow.
the Federal Reserve and got permission, basically loan to print more money.
So, oh my God. So now I'm paying for it on this end because everything is rising
Right.
except for
But
my
see, so
salary.
what happens is this: the Federal Reserve, then the federal bank, then what they have to do is they increase the interest rates because they're trying to take some of that money back out of the system. If they don't take that money back out of the system, then you fall into recession.
Mm.
But
Because the dollar is worth 50 cents.
it's worth less, right? So you raise the interest rate so that now it costs more. So I'm paying more, and so they're trying to take some of that money back out of the system to try to get things to level out and balance out.
Wow. I did not know that that's what they did.
Oh yeah, that's all they did. They listen. You got to remember, we're doing fiat currency now, so nothing. Our money is not based on gold. And again, this is what most people don't understand, and this is why it's like, man, look, boy, America, we in trouble.
Mm.
Is this because our money is not based on gold? It's based on different factors, right? Uh, um, Money circulating throughout the world, credibility of the nation, stability of the nation.
Mm-hmm.
So as America, we're becoming more and more unstable to the
Mm.
world. So when we're becoming more and more unstable to the world, the value of the dollar around the world begins to what? Drop.
Decrease.
It begins to decrease. So like there is not a world currency where this is the currency for the world. It's not. No, we
Mm-hmm.
don't. But the dollar is the base currency for the world, meaning that there's certain things that you have to base it on dollars first. So whatever the value of the dollar is, that's how much it costs, and then those things happen. So China is the country. I don't know if you hear things about like China is trying to supplant the United States and become the base currency for the world. They're trying to do that. Why? Because they got enough dollars in circulation. You know what I mean? And they don't have the political instability going on that we have.
Mm.
So so it's like we have to, as America, and again, how can I say this? We have to understand a lot of times as poor people, we're pawns. Like you say,
Mm-hmm.
money. Money
Mm-hmm.
is controlling. Who controls the government? Big money, and
Big money.
that's on both sides.
Yeah.
You know why the Republicans fight against gun control laws so much? Because big money is comes from the NRA,
Right.
right?
Right.
And they're gonna protect that because hey, that's where their money's at,
That's
gun
where their
sales,
money is. Yep.
right? So so you got to understand that, so there's certain things that we see being pushed everywhere now. He's like, dog, it's everywhere now. Why? Because people with money are doing what? They're pushing that agenda. Think about this, right? The Bible says a feast is for laughter and wine maketh merry, but what? Money
Money
answers
answers all
all
things.
things, right? And then the
Mm-hmm.
Bible says a poor man's wisdom is despised, even though he may be able to save the world, right? Money is power and wisdom is
Money.
power.
Money.
So that's the thing that we got to understand. And so because a lot of times, again, and I started learning about money because I made so many mistakes with money. I was rich poor. I was making a lot of money, but man, listen, it, I was paycheck to paycheck. You feel what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it was, and I think I told you the story about how I went through and the person embarrassed me and I
Oh, yeah,
walked
yeah,
out.
yeah. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, but I said, but they were right. And so I started learning about money. Poor people is crazy. We like to spend money because we think that's what rich people do.
And they don't.
And they don't.
They get all this free stuff. Like these celebrities get free stuff so they can advertise it. I'm like, can I get some free stuff? But no,
But
I'm gonna go out and buy it because
but
my favorite actress got it on.
right, but think about this, right? So, for example, a few years back, there was this big thing because Jay-Z went out and he spent like $100,000 one night, right? And they were like, "Oh, that's too much money," blah, 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 right? But with the amount of money that Jay-Z made that year, him spending $100,000 in one night was the equivalent to a person who made $42,000 spend $100 in one night.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So we're looking at what they're doing and we're trying to spend and buy what they buy, but we don't have the money. You follow
We
what I'm saying?
don't.
And what other nation do you have where you have people who can't afford, want Louis Vuitton? You know what I mean? And want all this stuff that they can't afford
Yeah.
because we want to look and not be.
Yeah.
I'd rather be rich than look rich. And I'd rather be saved than look saved. Hey, that's
I
another
agree.
story for another day.
You know what? This has been Kitchen Talk. It has been really, really good. We cook them up with our original finance guy in the kitchen with us, hanging out. Thank you so much. And this is something that we just got to keep talking about
Yeah.
so we can know the value of money and
Right.
not just. And I think the other thing that we could probably talk about too is our relationship to it. You know, what does
Yeah.
it mean to us?
But
what what um what psychological things do we have going on? Like I heard you say a few times, growing up poor or being poor, and now you got this, so you know that sort of thing. But I think everybody, if uneducated, may go through that phase, and hopefully they come out of it. You
right.
know, because one time we all done been through a phase. We done been through a phase with credit cards. We done been through a phase with oh, you making a little bit of money now, so you just feel like you can, spend and buy whatever.
Right.
And so it's kind of like, I can do whatever I want to because
Yeah.
I'm making a little bit of money. I ain't got no bad debts or whatever. And we don't think about the long run of it
Right.
or what it is about money. Like what is our that's a that what,
Yeah.
Marvin, I
But
can't sit here and
but
talk to
if
you
I could
all
say
night.
this, if I could say this, you said something that was so powerful. You said value, right? What I realize is that when we don't have, we value things. We don't value money.
Mm-hmm.
And so we allow money to flow through our hands trying to get things that we value. Because if we value money, we would treat it differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Uh, uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and so I think that's the thing, like you said, is it's teaching us how to value not the things, but to
Mm-hmm.
value money. Because if
Mm-hmm.
I value the money and cause money to grow, then all these things will be what added to me. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's really teaching us how to value, understanding that money is a tool. I'm not going to love money, but I understand how it works. It's a
Mm-hmm.
tool in which I can use to one, better my life and better the life of others. You know what I because I love. I was talking to the Lord about this earlier today. I love being a lesson. I love just being able to walk somewhere, walk in a store, and buy somebody something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's just me. I
Mm-hmm.
mean that's just I love doing it. I'm gonna get in trouble because my wife watching. But I remember me and one of the twins that I coached in football. We were in the store, and I was buying them something in the store, and the Lord laid it on my heart, and someone was looking at TV, and they were a student, and I said, "You gonna get that TV?" I said, "Which one you want?" And they were like looking at it. I said, "You finished shopping?" They're like, "Yeah." I said, "Hurry up now," and I bought their TV. But I love doing that, and you can't do it when you're broke.
You can.
Yeah, it's more you are more blessed to give than to receive.
Yeah.
Because when you're able to give, that means you're walking in the blessing.
Yeah.
And so just understanding that, man, money is a tool in which one, not can you give yourself something, but you can brighten somebody else's day. You can make
Yeah.
sure others have something to eat. You can make sure somebody else's lights are on. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I'll say this, and I'm done. uh,
You got to be smart with it.
you got to be smart. So if you can't take my advice, you can't take my money.
Mm.
If you want money and I'm trying to tell you what to do and you keep wanting to do what you want to do, then you can't keep getting my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Makes
but hey,
sense to me.
you hear that from me because I ain't want to gossip.
Yeah, we know you ain't want to gossip. So this has been Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cook.
Thank you, Mr. Finance, for tonight.
What's tonight, right?
Thank you, Marvin, for hanging out with us. JT and France had to be out tonight, but
Yeah,
hey, you
I
know
miss my
what? We still
boys.
cooking them up in the kitchen. Apologize for the delay because apparently I forgot to send them the link. Oh my God, what is going on? This is called you doing too much.
You're doing too much. And I figured out where the echo was coming from.
Where, Marvin?
I gotta tell on myself.
You had your phone on?
Well, what happened was when I didn't have a link, I logged onto the show because I was going to send you a message saying, because I text you, and I didn't think you saw it. So
I didn't see it until I was like, where are these dudes? What's going on?
so when you sent me the link, I just clicked on the link and forgot to turn it off. And
Turn
I'm
the
like,
phone.
what's
Woo,
oh,
I'm telling you, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, ain't it?
Lord have mercy. Forgive me,
Oh,
forgive
thank you
me.
so much for watching tonight. If you are watching us on Facebook, hit the like button. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and share. We will be here next week. Actually, the kitchen is gonna be closed next week. No. I may do a throwback. But anyway, look for us. We'll figure it out. Thank you for watching tonight. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
All right, MOG.
Woman of God, have a
We're
good
gonna
one.
holler at you later. Thank y'all for watching. Good night.
Good night.